My name is Lisa Morris, and 35 years ago this past February, I had an abortion. My mother had committed suicide several months earlier, and my family was in shock over the suicide. I was engaged to be married and found out that I was pregnant. We had a big wedding planned, and I didn't want to hurt my dad by walking down the aisle pregnant. I was scared and excited all at the same time about being pregnant. There were no sonograms then, and I believed what I was being told, that it was simply a mass of cells, just tissue. I bought into the lies that are still being told today. I also thought, if it's legal, it must be okay. I'm a rule follower, and if it had not been legal, I would have never ever considered it. Because I was in my second trimester, they said they would have to dilate the cervix and told me I would have some cramping and to come back the next day for the quote procedure. The next morning I went into a regular medical facility. I was put under anesthesia because I was so far along. I woke up screaming hysterically that I didn't want to do it. I could not be consoled. It was as if my head was saying it was okay, but that written law that God puts in your heart every bit was screaming, saying, you know, this was wrong, even under the effects of the anesthesia. But God is merciful, and it was only over time, as I grew closer to Him, that He allowed me to see the horror without despairing. After the abortion, I was depressed and full of sorrow, and an emptiness and an ache in my heart. Part of me truly had died with my baby. Chaos in my life for the next 15 years. Out of control drinking, drugs, broken relationships, suicidal feelings, just to name a few. The shock waves of abortion resound through the family, through my family. When I told my dad many years later of the abortion and why I had done it, his heart was broken and said, I wish you had told me, it would have been okay. His first grandchild rather. When I told my children later, I got married, that I got married and had 2 boys with that father, and that ended in divorce, as so often happens, because a lot of times we never even talked about it after we left the abortion clinic. We went on to have the big wedding, went on to get married, had 2 beautiful boys, and never ever talked about it as my life was spinning out of control, not even knowing that was the connection, and that is so often what happens. So we ended up getting divorced, and so when I told my children, my oldest son, who is now 33, said, Mom, you have felt bad about this long enough. I love you. Now go and help others to see the truth. And it was as if God just hugged me from heaven through him by that, just giving me that, His love and just permission of saying, you know, just go, help spread the word. So I just think if I can save one woman from the heartache and save one life, then to stand up here and say whatever I need to say to help, not to go down this path, is what I need to do. And I just thank God every day for what He's given and the blessing. And one thing off the notes here, in the course of things, I've been able to go to Africa several times on missions. And in the course of that, what's happened is I see so clearly they are looking to the West. They are looking at and trying to legalize abortion now in many places of Africa. And by the grace of God, have been able to share the pro-life message. And it's almost like the bishops and the priests and the laity in Africa are sounding the alarm, saying, 42 years, look at what happened in America. It is not going to help. And that is why I've been able to go over and share my story too, and give some conferences. But the Culture of Life Africa banner, which some of you saw, we were able to march with that. And I just beg you for prayers for that too, because they don't want it, and they need to just see what has happened to us. And that's why I'm silent no more.